Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Mocktail Minutes. Last week we talked about healthy swaps, and this week we're talking about the nightly treat. So, first of all, our mocktail for the week, I am doing a lemonade matcha. I've done this one before. It's from Thrive Market. It's so good. I love it. It's just very refreshing.
I love matcha. I always show my cup and you can't
Yeah.
see it, but I'm doing the Jigsaw electrolytes and I added some creatine in it from Kion. That's just the brand I have right now, just because I'm going to work out a little bit later.
Nice. Well, yeah, this week we're talking nightly treats. This is another, again, we usually base our topics off of what you're asking us, what you've asked us to talk about. So, this is something I get asked a lot is why am like I'm craving something every night. I always just need to have dessert. I need to have something sweet after dinner. I'm always hungry like before I go to bed. So, we're going to discuss that.
Yeah, I think across the board, I think it's very rare that I come across a client who doesn't really struggle with nighttime eating or they're not interested in it. I'm constantly getting that. I'm always hungry at night. I can't control myself. I eat everything in sight. Is this bad? What's going on?
And I think number one, we say this in every episode, but the why question is always going to be so important. So when I have someone come to me and they're like, I'm so hungry every night, I feel like I need something sweet every time after dinner. Honestly, I used to be the same way. Like, I used to have dessert pretty much after every meal, especially while I was in college. I mean, I didn't even have to make the dessert, it was always just there. So it became I would have my meal, I would have dessert, and sometimes it was like dessert 2 or 3 times a day. I didn't feel so great. But going back to your why, like, is it something where you're not eating enough during the day? Is it something that's just become that habit for you? Is it something like you're just bored watching TV and you're doing the kitchen drive by, you know?
There's Those are all questions to ask yourself really before getting down on yourself, because I
Mhm.
feel like people get really down on themselves because they feel like they should have all this willpower, or they have no discipline. And so ask yourself, like, most likely there's a reason for it, and it's probably one of these three things. Are you eating enough during the day, or is it just finally catching up with you at night and you're
Mhm.
still having your normal amount of calories, but they're just all at the end of the day because you started your day and got going and didn't eat until 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
I would say more often it comes down to they're not eating enough, or I would say not eating enough or just waiting too long, which kind of goes along with not eating enough throughout the day, especially if it's someone who's fasting, basically skipping breakfast. Then they're usually, that's when I'm seeing they're a lot hungrier at night. Because, like you said, your body's just trying to catch up. It's trying to get in all this food during your eating windows. And yeah, if you're not eating enough, eventually your body's going to be like, hello, pay attention to me. I would
Yeah.
like some food.
Yeah. It'll just take over at some point. Our bodies are meant to survive. And at some point, it's going to be like, all right, I'm eating. And it's just going to give you this appetite that you feel like you can't control because it wants food. So I think along with this topic, because you got to kind of work through it from all angles, is the question, can I eat after a certain time? I get this a lot. A lot of people think you can't eat after a certain time, and it becomes this like vicious cycle of just me probably under eating. You can eat really at whatever time. Now, should you try to take a 10 to 12-hour break overnight for your digestive system? Yeah, I mean, that would be really helpful. Our bodies like that. But if it comes down to I'm starving, but I'm not supposed to eat, or I've heard that you shouldn't eat after 7 o'clock, or you shouldn't do this, just eat, because that's going to help. Because if not, it just turns into this like ripple effect where now you're feeling the effects the next day, and it's just this constant cycle that you have. So yes.
And you know your body pretty well. I know we might feel like we are so disconnected with our body, we don't know what to do. But at the end of the day, you know how you feel so much better than I know how you
Yeah.
feel because you're living in it every day. And some people may not just, I mean, a lot of people aren't just going to digest food very well when they're sleeping. So if you're eating at 10 o'clock and then you're going to bed at 10:15 and you're noticing you're not getting very well rested sleep, maybe you're waking up pretty bloated, it could be because while your body is trying to rest, it's also trying to work your digestive system. So that's something else to kind of think about with how are you feeling. Now, if your night just doesn't go as planned and you get home and it's 8:30 and you're like, I have not had dinner, eat dinner.
Eat dinner. Yeah.
And then yeah, it might look different, but I'd rather you eat than be like, oh, it's after 8, I can't eat.
I think another thing to ask yourself is like, what am I wanting to eat late at night? Is it that dinner? Like, for example, I've had multiple clients that are like, I'm a mom. I do like sports throughout the week, and baseball doesn't get done until like 8:30. We're not home until 9 o'clock. Okay, well, yeah, you're probably hungry for dinner. Eat dinner,
Mhm.
but if you're one of these people who are like, man, it's only sweets at night. It's just, I really want sugar at night. I don't know what it is. That's when my sweet tooth comes out. It might be because you're not eating enough carbohydrates during the day. And so, again, your body being your body and wanting to survive, it's going to catch up with you and you're going to crave those carbs at night. You were probably on the blood sugar roller coaster all day. And it's just now finally catching up to you when you've had time to sit down, relax, and just kind of settle down.
Mhm. Especially if you are working out and or even if you started increasing your workouts or just started working out in general, your carb amounts might change. So
Yeah.
that's something to keep in mind is do we just need to make some adjustments? Experiment with yourself, and this is again something we help you with. Also, if you go to a personal trainer and their immediate reaction when you tell them you're not getting results is just to cut carbs, what does that even look like? If you have someone telling you to not eat carbs or telling you to not eat over like 50 grams or telling you not to eat any, basically not eating enough carbs for your workouts, that's a major red flag. If you are working out every day, which you shouldn't be working out every day, you need rest days, but if you're working out 5 times a week, your body needs more carbs than someone who is working out twice a week.
Yep.
You're going to feel a lot better. You're going to use those carbs for your muscles too, so
Yeah.
that they can recover and we can still use them.
Yeah. And I would say if you are working out that much and you are under eating carbs, you are not getting as much out of your workout as you could
Mhm.
be. That's a whole lot of work to be doing to not be getting great results. So odds are it's not the carbs. But I feel like that's the first thing people cut out. And so that's why I always ask people, what is it at night that you crave? Is it all the candy and like the ice cream and all that? It's probably because you didn't have enough carbohydrates. And that sounds really counterintuitive to people and it could be scary, but I promise you, if you start giving your body what it wants throughout the day, you won't feel like you need to be like the pantry raccoon.
And I see both ends of the spectrum too, where I have some people that come to me eating lots of carbs throughout the day and then they're still craving those nightly treats. That's probably due to just being on a blood sugar roller coaster. So let's
Yeah.
learn how to manage those blood sugars better so that we're not craving, not craving, craving, not craving, kind of up and down all day. And
Yeah.
then, yeah, I've also seen where I have a lot of people that come to me that they have been cutting carbs, dieting for years. So they're under eating carbs, and that's why they're craving them. So really, again, that's where we come in to help you figure out what exactly is going on here. Do we need to balance the blood sugars? Do we need to increase your carbs? Do we need to fix like what your meals look like? Kind of do that meal strategy. What are we eating at these meals?
Yeah.
And go from there.
Another thing to bring up too is, are you just doing it out of habit? Is
Mhm.
this like something you've gotten into your routine? This is what you do everything you got to do for the day. You finally sit down, maybe you're with your partner and you're like, let's turn on a show, and you've just associated nighttime TV watching with snacks. Because I see
Mhm.
this a lot too, and people are like, I don't actually really get hungry. I just like to snack. And then they're like, oh, I have way too much of it because I'm sitting there in front of the TV and I'm just snacking and I don't realize, or is it something that you do when you have like your nightly cocktails? Because I feel like that is something that could really, that's something that can cause that because, and we have a whole episode, we have multiple episodes on alcohol, but that impacts your blood sugar and it actually drops your blood sugar. So if you're someone who is under 8 during the day and then you have like your nightly glass of wine, now your blood sugar is probably really low and you're going to have these intense cravings for sweets.
Mhm.
So is it because of the drinks? Is it because I just do it when I watch TV? Really, what is it?
And as dietitians, like we talk about helping people decrease cravings all the time. This doesn't mean that we are just magic gurus taking away all your cravings
Yeah.
forever. We are still humans. I still enjoy brownies. I still enjoy Oreos, an ice cream day, anything like that. But the key word is kind of decreasing, not just eliminating all cravings forever. You're never going to want your favorite dessert.
Yeah.
But maybe we're just not having it every day anymore because you really just don't want to. It's not that dieting isn't allowing you to so you can lose weight. You might just not want it once you start eating enough throughout the day.
That's a good thing to bring up because, yeah, we're not teaching you how to avoid all things. We're teaching you how to help your body work optimally and kind of work for you. And you will find that once you start fueling yourself properly and really taking care of yourself in multiple aspects, not just the food, but in all the other aspects that we work with clients with, you'll see that you just have much more control. And it's really
Mm-hmm.
not this like overwhelming thing that takes over. This overwhelming, I need to snack every single night really isn't there. And honestly, it might be something that like you don't really notice until you reflect back on your week. Like, oh, wow, like I didn't really snack at night this week. And it's just one of those things that it's not happening, not because you're avoiding. It's just, it's not happening because that just, your body doesn't really want it anymore. You don't even notice.
And you're exactly right with the control piece too. That's what I get told a lot is like people just feel like they're much more in control when they are in the driver's seat of their own body. They're not just on autopilot, just doing, I don't know, like
Yeah.
we're not backseat driving in our own body anymore. We get to
Mm-hmm.
decide what we want, when we want it. We are adults here. That's the beauty of it. Sure, you might want us to tell you only have dessert once a month. That's not really going to help you.
Yeah.
Let's figure out why we want dessert every night. Let's see if we change up something, then you just don't want it, and then that helps with weight loss, something like that, or it helps you sleep better.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of different things go into it.
Yeah. No, so we're not here to be like, oh, here's all your rules and you just, magically abide by them because you're working with someone. That's, yeah, it's not how it works. I like how you said being in the driver's seat of your body because I think most of us are not. We're really out of touch with our body. We don't understand how our body works. We don't understand how hunger and movement and sleep and blood sugar and like hormones and everything is connected. And I feel like when you are in the driver's seat of your body, you're able to like really be empowered to make choices that support you. And then you're also able to kind of like ebb and flow because once you start
Mhm.
to be in control of your body and understand your body, you realize you're not the same every single day. And you realize maybe there is some days out of the month that I am really hungry at night. And you're able to check in with yourself and be like, why? Did I increase my workouts this week? Did I get less sleep this week? Did I need more of this week? Am I on my period this week? This sort of thing. You're able to like kind of check in with your body and then you're able to allow yourself to give your body what you need and then you move on and you're not
Mhm.
stressing about it and you don't fall into these habits and you don't fall into this like why can I control myself type thing.
You get to make the choice. You get to come into it so level headed. Even last night, I had technically, I guess, a second dinner at like 8:30, but my day was just odd. It wasn't my normal routine. I had breakfast at 10:30. I usually eat at like 6:30, and then I had lunch slash dinner at 4. So it made sense that I was hungry at 8:30. So it wasn't, oh, it's too late to eat dinner. It wasn't, oh, I already had dinner. It was just my third time having a meal that day. And it was fine because I felt so much better rather than sitting there telling myself I already ate dinner. I don't need anything else. No, I was
Right.
hungry. I needed something to eat.
Yeah, it takes away like those food rules and those like we think that we need to be so strict with our bodies. We think our body is working against us and we need to be strict and say no and have this discipline and abide by these routines and do all this stuff when really if we just worked with our body and let, because our bodies want to work with us and for us, it's not against us. It's so much easier to feel your best and to reach your goals when you work with your body. Yeah, if you had been like, no, I have this strict food rule of like, I don't eat after a certain time and I already had dinner, so I shouldn't be eating, like, you're not really working with your body. Your body needed more calories, it needed more nutrients, it had an off day. It worked out for you to listen to your body and to work with it. And you can trust your body and work with your body when you understand how it works.
Sometimes I feel like what we teach isn't so hot and spicy as the newest
Yeah.
diet trend. So when we say like working with your body, people are like, I live
Yeah.
in it every day. Like,
I hate
what if
my body.
it,
I don't want to be in this body. My body's the problem. Yeah.
yeah, I'm like, what if it was like a hot and spicy thing to be like, I get to figure out how this feels.
Yeah.
I get to choose this. That's hot. Like that's a
Yeah.
hot topic.
I know. I always say like this is the most unsexiest advice because it's true. We want the like right here, right now. What is going to make me wake up tomorrow morning and be 20 pounds less? Like that's what people want. And really, what people need, and they don't know it yet, is they need a healthy relationship with their body and they need to understand how it works so that they're not constantly looking for that next thing to do. Because that's really the problem is none of those things helps get you to your goals. It might for a short period of time, but it's super unsustainable. And then when you go back to, starting at square one, you've actually taken 10 steps back because now you've slowed your metabolism. You've like probably hurt your hormones. You've created all these really unhealthy habits.
So you might think it's, I don't know, I feel like I've kind of noticed people think it's really great when they have so much willpower because they don't eat the cookie. Or,
Yeah.
like things like that. But I'm like, what if if you want the cookie, you enjoyed it, and then we just moved on? Like,
Yeah.
that sounds a lot cooler to me.
Yeah. Or what if the cookie wasn't so daunting? Can you
What if it was
imagine a
just a
life? Yeah.
cookie?
What if you could live with cookies on your counter for a whole week without feeling like they're taunting you from the other
Mhm.
room? Yeah. And what if you ate a cookie and you moved on and you didn't even think about it ever again? Like,
Mhm. Yeah, and even if you're there and you don't want one, that doesn't again mean it's dieting. It just means you don't want one at that moment.
yeah. So if you're someone who is constantly feeling like I need my nightly treat, check in with yourself and ask yourself, am I eating enough during the day? Am I eating an appropriate amount of carbs? Am I eating an appropriate portion of carbs, or am I kind of up and down all day? Is this just a habit I'm doing? Like, check in with yourself. And if you don't know how to do any of those things, reach out to Bailey and I. That's something that we help clients do. We want to help you understand your body so that you can be in the driver's seat of your body.
Now, if you are being a human and you're having a
Yeah.
night that you want something sweet, when we're thinking about this, just balance it out. Add
Right.
something to it. Again, kind of how we talked about in our last episode, what can you do to add nutrients? What's just going to make you feel really great? If you do make brownies, fine. Can you add some protein powder to it? Or if you don't want to add protein powder, if you want to keep your brownie recipe the same, eat a handful of nuts, anything like that. A lot of times I like to do more of the naturally sweet items because even thinking about our sweet profiles, if we are constantly intaking foods with a lot of added sugars, we are going to have like a higher tolerance for how much sugar we want. If we learn to adjust our taste buds and we balance out our blood sugars a little bit more, and we do more of the natural sugars, you won't crave sugars as often. You won't crave as much either because
Yes.
your taste buds are going to be less sensitive. So you can even do something like an apple and peanut butter. I say that hesitantly because I don't want you to feel like dessert is apple and peanut butter. But
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
fruit is sweet. If you're just looking for that sweeter flavor, why not?
Well, and I think fruit is a good thing to bring up because a lot of people think they can't have fruit.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, you can have fruit. Like I love that you said, think about what you can add to it. This is something we're always talking about. For example, chocolate is a big one. And it's funny because when I work with clients from through metabolism makeover, it's like 30 days, right? You're learning for 4 weeks, actively learning for 4 weeks. Well, eventually one of those weeks women get their cycle, and I always notice it in my check-ins. Oh my gosh, I was hungry this week. I really wanted something sweet. I wanted a nighttime snack. I'm like, and I can always guess like, oh yeah, you were probably like on your period. You need a little bit more food. You need a little bit more carbs. You need
It's
certain things.
normal.
Like, yeah, magnesium. Like, hey, did you know chocolate is a good source of some of the things you
Dark
need
chocolate
during,
is
yeah.
great.
So have some dark chocolate, have it with a spoonful of nut butter, maybe throw it into some Greek yogurt, add some berries. Just what can you add to it instead of just eating a Hershey bar by itself? Probably sounds delicious. What can you add to it? It's going to make you more satisfied. It's going to help you feel better. And then you're going to be getting those things that you're craving and wanting without being restrictive. And then, hey, guess what? The next night, you probably won't crave that Hershey bar as much because you've allowed yourself to have it. And you know that when you want it, you can have it.
Dark chocolate covered almonds, amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Get you
They
some
have
good
the
magnesium.
dark chocolate covered pomegranate. I think it's like pomegranate and blueberries at Costco, and
Oh
they're
yeah,
so good.
yeah, these are good.
If you know, Costco. I'm saying a lot of Costco here. I feel like they should like throw something at me, but
Yeah.
that's the rest Costco. But yeah, like just check in with yourself. And again, if you don't really understand how to do that, not your fault. We're not really taught how to do that. Reach out to someone who knows how to do that, and we will help guide you through it.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, this was your episode on nightly treats. If you have questions about it, you're trying to figure it out, send us a message, put us in a group chat. We'll talk to you about it. But yeah, we hope to see, or I guess we won't hear you. We hope you hear us next week.
Yes, tune in next week.
All right. Goodbye, everyone.